Hello everyone, welcome. It's Sunday morning in the UK, grey and overcast, and we're going to do another death metal collection update. Last few times we've done updates on this video, or posted videos I should say. We've done some different stuff. We've done box set reviews, we've done a couple of cassettes, and yesterday you saw my brother razzing on my 1991 American BT Rich Bitch. Now, as you know, I collect death metal vinyl, CDs and cassettes, but I also collect BT Rich guitars. So if anyone's got a BT Rich guitar, I know a few of you have, why don't you post some videos of you playing it? It'd be fun, something a little bit different. So what we're going to do today is just go through some of my record collection, and what I'd like to show you just quickly is a band from New York. This is a record or an EP that a lot of you will have heard of, but do many of you own? This is Human Waste by Suffocation. This is 1991 Nuclear Blast Records. Fantastic cover, and then that's the rear. So this is the Human Waste EP. This is getting increasingly hard to find. It's got a few tracks which actually made it to the debut album, Effigy of the Forgotten. It's real brutal New York death metal. New York death metal is a little bit different to Floridian death metal, let's say, in that I found it a lot more guttural. It probably has a lot more sort of beef to the sound, whereas some of the Floridian bands had a little bit more crunch. These guys were a bit more beefy, a little bit more, you know, knock you over the head. So I was lucky enough to get a copy of this, which included the insert from Nuclear Blast displaying the t-shirts you could buy in 1991. Various bands like Disharmonic Orchestra, Rostock Vampires, Master, and so on. And then moving over to records which you could buy. In terms of the vinyl, it's a standard black vinyl, Nuclear Blast Records. So it plays really, really well. It's a really good copy, this one. And it's definitely something, if you're a hardcore New York death metal fan, definitely something which you'll need in your collection. Okay, they did issue it on CD and I believe cassette as well, so you can pick it up on numerous formats. The next one, just take it out of its poly sleeve, is one I got this week. This is a brilliant record. This is Bolt Thrower from Birmingham in the UK, which incidentally is from where my nan's from. But she doesn't know anyone in Bolt Thrower, unsurprisingly. This is a fantastic cover. This is Realm of Chaos. This was their second full-length album. Lucky enough to get this one, I believe they did two copies of this, gatefold and single sleeve, I think. Don't quote me on that. This is the gatefold edition. It's in immaculate condition. This is an 89 release. Vinyl is there. It's a standard black vinyl with a nice graphic on the label. And the bit that's always missing with these is the lyric inserts. Now, a lot of bands do insert sheets, but Bolt Thrower went the extra mile. They'd actually teamed up for this release with a games company called Games Workshop, who make little figures which you can paint, and you know, all the dragons and the orcs and the goblins. And I believe that you may have read when you were younger the Fighting Fantasy series of game books. Remember when you used to turn the page and have choices of where to go and who to fight? Well, they were owned. Games Workshop was run, I believe, by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, who wrote those books. So inside this, you'll find various fantasy artwork along with the lyrics. And as I say, the whole package is in immaculate condition. I picked this up really recently. This one goes for a lot of money. This can go for up to £70. But I got a bargain on this for about 22. I couldn't believe it. So I'm well stoked to get that one. I own War Master, as you can remember from my tape video. I do own War Master, which was their third album, on cassette, but I need to really bolster up my Bolt Thrower collection because they're a real brilliant band, a real mix between sort of death and grindcore. Fantastic, and they're still going today. One thing about Bolt Thrower that does annoy me and a lot of people is that you can't buy Bolt Thrower t-shirts on the internet or on their website. You can only buy it when you go and see a Bolt Thrower concert, which in my opinion is lame. But there you go, that's my opinion, and my opinion is there to be disagreed with. Another band from Birmingham, we're doing a bit of a UK theme at the minute. This is Benediction. This is the Grand Leveller. Fantastic sleeve there of the archetypal spooky tree. That's the back. Once again, a fantastic condition released. Another Nuclear Blast album. This one was from 1990, I believe. No, 91 this one, released in May 91. So you get an insert there with the lyrics, and you get the credits on the back. It's a good album. I never thought Benediction were quite as good as Bolt Thrower. It's a very similar sound. They used to have Mark Barney Greenaway from Napalm Death on vocals on their first album, which I believe is Subconscious Terror. This was their second album. They got new vocalist Dave Ingram, who does a really, really good job. They're quite similar to Bolt Thrower. In fact, Bolt Thrower's Carl Willits does vocals actually on one of these tracks on this album. But it's definitely something good to get into your collection if you like a little bit of UK death grind. For all you necrophagia or lovers of old school death metal, check this out. This is the reissue picture disc from Hammerheart Records of Necrophagia's 87 debut LP, Season of the Dead, with a fantastic zombie graphic on there. And then on the back, don't get too excited guys, is the infamous Killjoy on vocals and porno film actress, inverted commas, Jenna Jameson as well, showing off her assets for all of the people that buy this picture disc. Musically, proto-death. It's very much, it's very thrashy, but Killjoy, even in those days in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, had those deathly vocals. He was one of the first death vocalists, really, along with Shaw Diner and Jeff Becerra from Possessed. So something cool to get into your collection, and you don't see that one crop up too often. Expect to pay around about £20 for that, 37, 38 American dollars. Moving on for a bit of Floridian death metal, because we all love a bit of Floridian death metal. This is Malevolent Creation. Once again, quite thrashy in places, this one. This is the Ten Commandments. All of you will have known, if you own albums like this, like I do, the artwork is usually on these early American death metal albums fantastic. They're done, I believe this one's done by a guy called Dan Seagrave, who's absolutely fantastic. He did Left Hand Path by Entombed, Morbid Angels, Altars of Madness. I believe he did Gore Guts Considered Dead. He did an awful lot of early American death metal and UK death metal acts, record sleeves. Fantastic stuff. That's the back. Some great tracks on here like Multiple Stab Wounds, Malevolent Creation and so on. Now with this one here, it's got an inner sleeve with lyrics on. But one of the real great things with this one, I believe it was a promotional copy, because it actually comes with a press release giving you information by everyone at Roadrunner Records, the UK version. So for further information, it says on the Great Malevolent Creation, please call Sophie. So I did try and ring Sophie, but I didn't get connected. I think she's left. But it's cool to get things like that in there. It's like a press release which they would send out to magazines who were doing maybe a phone interview with the band, so they got a little bit of info before they spoke to the members. So just real cool stuff you can't really buy. Let's stay on an American theme now. You all know about my love for the side project called The Ravenous. Chris Reifert on drums from Autopsy, Dan Lilker from Brutal Truth and lots of bands. On bass, Killjoy, Necrophagia on vocals. Probably one of the best covers and the most horrible covers you can probably imagine to see. This is The Ravenous. This is their first album, assembled in Blasphemy on Hammerheart Records. It's a gatefold, as you can see here, with lyrics and all sorts of crazy graphics. This one is a standard black vinyl release with a nice picture label there. I love The Ravenous. I recently did a review of the second full-length album, Blood Delirium, which is one of my favourite atmospheric death metal albums. It's like watching a horror film. This one isn't as good, but it's pretty much the same. It's like watching a horror film. There's lots of samples from various movies, and it's just generally a really, really creepy record. This one's from Hammerheart Records. This one came out, I think, in 2003. You can find this fairly easily on CD. It's a lot harder to pick up on vinyl. Expect to pay about 20 English pounds, 30, 35 American dollars to get this. I think it's easier to find within the States than it is in Europe. So you American guys watching this, Count Blaggeroth, Metal Mosher 6693, maybe you guys should have a look for this one. Might be a bit easier for you guys to pick up. Now, who likes a bit of autopsy on a Sunday morning? I know I do. This is the recent reissue. This is limited edition 224 of 2000. This is the classic Mental Funeral. What Peaceful are now doing is they're reissuing the entire Autopsy back catalogue on vinyl. Not only vinyl, but red vinyl. All sorts of various coloured vinyl. It is a gatefold sleeve. It's got a slightly different back cover photograph to what the original issue did. It was a colour photo on the original, slightly different shot from that photo session as well. I'll show you the vinyl, because I know you're all vinyl junkies and you love a bit of it. So let me show you. There you go. Oh, if that isn't blood red vinyl, what is? I'm not going to talk about the album. You guys know Mental Funeral is probably Autopsy's high point. It's when everything came right with them on this album. It is a real mixture of death metal, but quite sludgy, dirty, filthy necro death metal mixed with sort of stoner doom metal. So if you like a bit of doom metal like Trouble and you like death metal as well, this album is probably the one to get. It comes in various formats. The original issue was released on black vinyl as well as a luminous green splatter vinyl, vomit vinyl I think that they called it. I'm looking out for that, so if anyone's got one that they'd like to sell, PM me and perhaps we can talk prices. But this is a real cool reissue. I'm trying to get hold of Severed Survival, the blue vinyl reissue. That comes with a poster. They're doing Acts of the Unspeakable on yellow vinyl, which is a pre-order now, guys, on the Peaceful site. So get on there, and they'll be doing Shit Fun as well at the end of the year. Nice name. Right, the last one we're going to look at today is this band. This is Death Throne, the Son of God, by, I hope I pronounced this one right, I've always been a bit curious, Havaheh, which is Jehovah backwards. They're that evil, they can't even say Jehovah. It's got to be said backwards. So I believe that sounds a bit like, or translated, Havaheh. As I say, this is blasphemic black metal, probably the most blasphemic band you can probably get. Enough said. Some of the stuff on there, some of the titles I won't go into in case there are children watching, but it's in terms of a release, it's on heavy duty 180 gram vinyl. It sounds great. There you go. It's packaged great. They're a great band. Paul Ledney. Obviously, if you may have heard Paul Ledney, he was in a band called Profanatica. He used to be in a band with John McEntee called Incantation, which is an early version of them. But this one is his black metal side project, Havaheh. If you guys know about black metal, you would have heard of Profanatica from America, one of the most infamous black metal bands in the States. Well, he's released numerous releases under this moniker, this being the first one. This is a reissue on Hell's Headbangers, originally released in 1993 on Candlelight Records, which was a UK label. This was one of the first releases on Candlelight. That release is really hard to come by, so if anyone's looking to get this, you can get it on picture disc through Hell's Headbangers. And this is the standard black vinyl version. It's worth listening to. It's quite hard to listen to. It's very raw, and this is probably the real definition of necro black metal. Forget Dark Throne, this is necro black metal in my opinion. So that sort of sums up what I'm showing you today. There's more to come. It's a bit colder today, so the cardigan's on. Not very metal, but there you go. We're not all posers on this channel, as you know. So guys, thanks very much for watching again, and I'll catch you next week for some more death metal vinyl. Alright, keep the metal flowing. Hope you have a safe week, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.